Hey guys, this is Goku, and on this channel we talk about poker and ideas that can improve your life. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and click the subscribe button because I'll be honored to have you here. Today we're gonna jump into another GTO trainer session. This is a series where we play different types of GTO spots on the WPT GTO trainer. And today we're playing the MP2 Open versus Big Blind Call, which is a tournament spot played on 50 big blind stacks. Let's jump right into it. First hand, we've got ace queen off on a 7-10 queen. I think this is a bet 2. Okay, it's a bet 5, 96% of the time. Betting 2 has a small EV loss, but the solver only plays it here 3% of the time. Okay. 9-10 suited on a deuce 6-8. We're betting 2. Yes. We get called, and now the villain leads for a third pot bet, and I think we fold here. Okay, we don't fold here. We should call this 99.5% of the time. Folding is actually very bad. With 9-10 of hearts, we should be sticking around. Okay, good to know. Ace king off on a jack 8-4 with 2 spades. We're betting 2 or betting 5. Villain folds. Ace king off on a 10 jack 5. This is a bet 2. Bet 5, 65% of the time. Bet 2 only 5% of the time. Queen jack off on an 8-7 ace with 2 spades. We're betting 2. As the ideal action, we get called. Deuce of diamonds on the turn. Do we continue betting here with queen jack off? Do we check? I think we continue betting. Let's see. Yeah, we do continue betting, but ideally we would overbet here 88% of the time and bet 3/4 pot like we did just 8% of the time. Villain calls, and we have a 5 of hearts on the river. Now do we fire another barrel or do we check? I think we fire another bullet, but how much? I'm gonna try and bet 3/4. Okay, again, this should be a shovel in 91% of the time. Betting 3/4 is just 1.6% of the strategy. Small EV loss, but we see the solver prefers just shoving here. Okay. Ace-10 suited on a jack 4 king. We're gonna bet 2. Bet 5 would be the ideal action, but it's pretty similar. We hit a 10 on the turn, which also brings the flush draw. We're gonna check, as we should. And a queen on the river means we have a straight. So are we over betting here? Maybe we're betting half pot. Let's see, I'm gonna bet half. Okay, it's a check, ideally 54% of the time. Bet half pot 20. And I guess another 25 would be betting 3/4. Or maybe overbetting. Probably overbetting. Ace queen suited on a 5 king king. We're gonna bet 2. That's the ideal action. We get raised. Now do we call here with ace queen suited? I kind of think so. I'm gonna try and call. Let's see. Yeah, we should call 99.4% of the time. And now the villain bets 3/4, so we're gonna fold. Yeah. Pocket threes on a jack ace 3. Is that a bet 2 or bet 5? I'm gonna try and bet 5. Yeah, it's a bet 5. Villain folds. Pocket sixes on king 5-3. We're gonna bet 2. Yeah, villain folds. Ace king suited on a 7-6-6. We're gonna bet 2. We get raised. I think we call here with ace king suited. We do. 10 of spades on the turn. We're gonna check. That's the ideal action, but as you can see, the solver checks here 43% of the time. So should be betting here 56% of the time. And now a 5 of spades on the river. Now do we check behind? Or do we bet at this? I kind of think we check behind. But perhaps overbetting is also a viable option. I'm gonna check behind. Okay, so betting 3/4 would be the ideal action. Played 46% of the time. Checking behind is just 5.5% of the strategy. It's small EV loss, very small. But we can see probably the solver does a lot of overbetting here. Or betting half pot, but I would think overbetting. Ace 3 suited on a king 3-10. It's a bet 2. It's a check actually, 48% of the time. Bet 2, 15% of the time. Jack of diamonds on the turn. We're gonna check. And the solver would prefer betting 77% of the time here. Overbetting the pot very, very frequently. A check on the turn is actually a small EV loss and just 3% of the strategy. Now the villain bets 7 BBs, so 3/4 pot bet. Do we call? Do we fold? Do we raise? I think because of the fact that we checked behind the turn, I don't think we can raise here credibly. Maybe sometimes. I think I'm leaning towards folding, so I'm gonna fold. And we should fold. Okay, good. Queen 10 suited on a 4 queen deuce. It's a bet 2. Yeah. We get raised. We're gonna call, obviously. 8 of hearts on the turn. Villain bets 3/4 pot bet. Do we call here with queen 10 suited? What's the weakest hand we should call here? Think we call at least I don't know, 40% of the time. How much? Okay, we call here 99% of the time, so good. Good, I was thinking maybe the solver does a lot more folding here, but it doesn't, so I'm glad. And I'm gonna check behind the river. And yeah, excellent. Ace queen off on a 9 king 7. It's a bet 2. Bet 5 is the ideal play, but we can see they're pretty much similar. Villain folds. King queen off on a 5 ace 5. It's a bet 2. We get raised. I think we just fold here. Yep. 8-10 suited on a jack 5-8. It's a bet 2. Yes. We get called. Deuce on the turn. Do we continue betting here? I think we do with our hand, so I'm gonna bet 3/4. Okay, actually, the solver doesn't continue here with our hand. Prefers checking 99% of the time. Betting 3/4 is just 0.2% of the strategy and a small EV loss. So we shouldn't actually do that. Pocket tens on a 9-7-3. It's a bet 2. Bet 5's the preferred play. We get called. Ace on the turn. I think we check here. No, should be betting 7 rather. So 3/4 pot bet, 92% of the time. Checking behind is quite bad and just 1% of the strategy. And on the river, we're just gonna call the 1/4 pot bet. Yeah, we can see the solver actually calculated that the best strategy here is shoving all in, but that's just 0.75% of the strategy, and calling is 95. King jack off on a 10 deuce jack. We're gonna bet 2. Okay, bet 5's the go-to play here with king jack. Bet 2 is fine EV wise, but just 10% of the strategy. 5-4 suited on a 5-3 queen. It's going to be a bet 2. Yes, it is. Villain calls. We hit 2 pair on the turn, which also brings the straight and flush draws. So we're gonna bet how much here? 3/4. Okay, ideally we would check 74.5% of the time and bet 3/4, 24.5. We got called. 8 of diamonds on the river. Now do we check behind our 2 pair or do we bet? I think we bet, but how much? Half pot, 3/4. I think we bet 3/4 here. Let's see. Okay, that's actually a bad play. It's minus 1.18 BB of EV loss. We should just check behind here our 2 pair hand. Yeah, we're gonna call the re-raise because, yeah. And the villain's got the flush, so we should just check behind here. Good to know. Kings on an 8 jack 3. It's going to be a bet 2 or a bet 5. We get raised. We call. Oh, actually, it's bad to just call here. We should be re-raising 99% of the time. So I guess we should be re-raising on the turn. Yeah. We get called. Let's see what the villain has. He's got king jack. Excellent. King 10 suited on a deuce 4-4. I'm gonna bet 2. So a villain folds. Ace king off on a queen 5 jack. It's a bet 2. It's a bet 5, ideally. Pocket jacks on a 3-5 queen. Bet 2. 85% of the time. Villain calls. 6 of spades on the turn. Villain leads for a third of the pot bet. We're gonna call. And an 8 on the river. Are we checking behind here? Are we betting small? I think we're checking behind. Yeah. Pocket 8s on a 6-8 king. We're gonna bet 5. Interesting that this is a bet 2. And we had a very similar spot at the beginning of the session, and we bet 2 with a set on a 1 high card board, and it was a bet 5. Interesting. We got raised, so do we just call here or do we shove? I think we just call here, but again, last time we called here, we called in a spot like that, it was a shove, so yeah. Maybe we should actually shove, because yeah, we're shoving either way here, so maybe it's better to just put it in on the flop. We get called, and Villa's gonna have a 10. No, I thought he would. Okay. King 10 on an 8 queen 3. We're betting 2. Villain folds. King jack off on a 3-4-6. It's a bet 2. Villain folds. And we've played our 25 hands for the day. I think this wasn't the best session, but yeah, it's not bad. Minus 23 BBs of EV loss. Our frequencies were, well, right on spot, so that's cool. But we had, yeah, this hand where we made some substantial mistake betting here on the river, whilst we should just call with our 2 pair on the flush board. And also this one, yeah, 9-10 of hearts, where we folded on the turn. Yeah, this was a weird one actually. Not sure how that's such a big EV loss hand. Folding here with 9-10 of hearts. Just have a gut shot. And 2 overs. Maybe that's enough to call. I don't know. But I'm surprised this is a 99% call. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video, please leave a comment below. Just write GTO or ask any question you might have. Subscribe to this channel if you're not already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed watching it. And check out the links in the description of this video. I've got some nice poker courses. I've got the previous sessions of playing those various WPT spots, GTO spots. So lots of content. I really recommend all of that. So thank you. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.